where we rise and shine and we start our day on purpose, with purpose, and for the purpose of having an attitude of gratitude. And of course, I am Latanja Millhouse, your host and your number one hype woman. And the biggest reminder that today is another chance and another opportunity for you to live boldly, zestfully, and unapologetically you. But the question is, can you feel it? Do you hear it? Do you know it? And can you see it? It's a brand new day. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? It's a brand new day. And of course, a new opportunity for you to live boldly and zestfully as it is with purpose. And so, once again, welcome each and every one of you as you come on board this train as the train is rolling in. Good to see you there, Dad. Thank you so much for being here. Dad is coming in all the way from Cali to where it's 5 a.m. to give his daughter here some support. And I appreciate you very much, Dad, each and every day that you are here on the live with us. And so, as we prepare for our gratitude journals, I just want to be able to recognize today that we have, of course, Mondays that we're featuring Osha Cerese here on Monday. And so, Asha, are you prepared to join us?
I am.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Greetings. Hi.
Yes. And so, Asha, we're going to have to come up with a Monday intro song because we do the Friday intro song. So we need to come up with something as we can think about it and see what we come up with for Mondays.
Yeah. I wonder if we can pull that
A little closer. Let's see.
I'm live over here on my YouTube channel. So, Grand Rising and Happy Monday.
Is that good?
Yes.
All right. Let's see here. We all settled in now.
All right.
Okay, so we'll have to come up with an intro song for Mondays. We can do that. We can think about it. Okay. And so let's go ahead and look at the gratitude journal prompt. Now, these are just helping us to pour back into ourselves as we do each and every day that we rise and shine. We pour back into ourselves. And so let's look at this one, pretty simple. I am grateful for, fill in the blank, because it showed me that I. All right, so we want to take a few minutes to do that journal prompt. And of course, if you don't have anything to write in or write on, call to mind this particular question. I am grateful for because it showed me that I. All right, and so what do you all have for that? Let me go ahead and take a few minutes to write mine in. Okay, and so I have written mines, and of course, if you like to make your comments known in the comment section, you could do so if you want to add something in the comment about this particular question. And of course, everyone knows the sweet tea don't get personal. But I will share what I have written for us today as it is. I am grateful for the Almighty strength because it has showed me that I am strong. And so many times that we may put a great deal of extra pressure on ourselves, as you have seen me during my 8-piece collection. But I know that that strength has come from what I call the Almighty in my life that had provided me the extra guidance and the confidence that I needed to get the work completed and done and being prepared for the runway. And so stay tuned for more footage as we begin to post more of the 8-piece collection at the one for the books, the 14th annual ageless fashion show that was on June 7th. So I can't say enough about it, Asha. I thank you so much for all of the ways that you have edited and posted some of the videos. And if you're looking for a content strategist, Asha is the one that you want to see. And so, as a matter of fact, Asha, I'll have a question for you. With all of the things that you're doing as a multifaceted individual that has a great deal of awesome things that you do for the service of others, from dating to cooking to how you show up for the singles. Could you go over some of the and all of the services that you have in brief content? Because I know some of the criticisms that people are saying is that they feel that it is not necessarily focused on one thing. Could you go into detail a little bit so people can know what it is that you have to offer?
Well, yes, I am the dream doula supporting you in birthing your vision or birthing your life, love, and business that you desire. And that is everything that I offer falls under three categories: life, love, and business. So, life would be where I come in with the life coaching, supporting you with healing, self love, self discovery, getting organized, keeping you accountable to reach your goals, helping you get unstuck, helping you with transitions in life, whether that is leaving corporate and starting, well, that's kind of under business, but whatever your transition is in life that you need support with. Love, intentional love. If you are an intentional dater, you're ready for love, I got you with the events. I got you with preparing you for making sure that you know what your boundaries and your standards are, and having clarity on what it is that you actually want in your dating journey, as well as providing you with events and services such as my Cowboy Cupid collaborative event series and the Intentional Love Collective. I have a database full of singles that I utilize for matchmaking purposes. And then I also do some couples coaching if you need support with conflict resolution as well. And then business, content strategies, content plans, content creation, web design, ebook design. If you need support with finding your purpose, learning how to utilize and monetize your gifts, learning how to, just gain clarity on what it is that you can do, developing a niche, building a platform, building a brand, whatever it is that you need in that area as well, I got you. Some other services that people come to me for is transitioning to veganism, being plant based, having more, living a more holistic lifestyle. So those are some services that I offer under my Dream Doula services. And I recently recently challenged myself to create long form content on YouTube every day for the month of June. So I kind of opened up a can of worms the other day on, on Threads, and I kind of screenshot, or not kind of, I screenshotted some of my thumbnails from some of the videos that I posted in the past 2 weeks, and I asked for some feedback, honest feedback. So I invited the opinions in, and I was basically asking if they had any opinions or feedback on why my views have been kind of low based on my thumbnails or my titles, or even if they went over to my page, my channel to look and see what it is that I actually post about. But most people just went off of what thumbnails look like and the titles. I did get a lot of constructive feedback about, having to change some of the titles because YouTube is a completely different platform than I'm used to, and it operates differently. So the rules that apply on other platforms don't necessarily apply over there. I've done challenges on other platforms where it's like daily posting several times a day, and you see the rapid growth in the platform. But on YouTube, they were saying making sure your titles are like searchable, like Googleable, like something somebody would Google, a question somebody would Google. Don't let your thumbnails be the same as your title. Not putting too many words in the thumbnails, making sure the thumbnails don't look dated, keeping the color scheme kind of cohesive, and the fonts, keeping those, in the same, keeping the fonts the same, basically. They suggested looking at other people's pages and, just trying to see what the popular trending channels, how their thumbnails look, And all of this was great feedback. Some of the feedback was, well, I don't know what your page is about. I don't know what your channel is about because it seems all over the place. So you have a lot of different topics. Who's your target audience and things like that. Mm-hmm. Well, I definitely I definitely have done quite a lot of different topics in the past 2 weeks on purpose because I wanted to, put different styles of videos on there just to kind of get a little bit of data as to what people gravitated to. So it was purposeful on my end, but at the same time, these are all topics that I'm interested in sharing. Like I'm talking about different things such as, relationship topics or, self-discovery topics, giving personal stories, and also I do, blogs, reviews, different things, giving recipes for plant-based food or holistic wellness tips, feminine wellness tips. So it's all under the umbrella of what I do. It's not all over the place when it comes to me. Like it's very intentional. Each day has a particular topic or theme. So it sometimes can be a little frustrating because that's been something that I've heard throughout my whole journey is, oh, focus on one thing or who is your target audience? I'm confused. And one part of me wants to be like, the ones that get it, get it. The mm-hmm. ones who get it, get it. Mm-hmm. If you don't get it, it's not for you. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to align with people who understand what it is that I'm presenting and offering. And then the other side of me is like, well, you do have to make sure that the audience understands who it is that you're speaking to. You have to make sure that the algorithm understands who you're trying to target because that's the way that they continue to push it out. Mm-hmm. So it did get a little bit frustrating because it's like, oh, here I go, still not being understood, still not being seen. And there are many people who are like me, who are multifaceted, multi-passionate, multi-hyphenate. And, you offer multiple services, you're creative, you don't want to be boxed in. And I've never wanted to be boxed in to one niche on any of my platforms. I honestly don't want to be the person that only does one thing, like, and then that's all I talk about. It just doesn't resonate with me. Mm-hmm. So I have to find ways to still be true to myself, but make sure that the algorithm and the audience understands who I'm speaking to and aligns me with the right tribe.
Awesome. I mean, I understand it. And is there an age category in terms of who it is that you're featuring and catering more to?
More so millennials.
Millennials.
But some of my clients are Gen X.
Okay. And so it just depends on
or
if
Gen Z.
They can shop. They're on your stand store, right? I'm just saying that once you go and look on the stand store, you can find what is actually there and available for you based on all of the things that you have to offer. And I feel as if when we go into these grocery stores, some of these major grocery stores, or even some of the local quick stores that you may visit, you may be looking for one thing, but then there's so much to choose from when you go there and you get there. Now, you may have a grocery list, and then we know oftentimes when we go into a grocery store, me, myself personally, as my brother would say, I'm there wanting to be able to shop for one particular thing. Mm-hmm. And then by the time it's all said and done, when I get up to the register, I'm like, I wasn't intending to get all of these things, but we know that the options are there, the choices are there. And then when you start to look around, you may see some other things that you desire and want. And I feel as if your stand store will create that for people when they're actually going on there to see, based on your discovery call, that you can see if it's the right fit for them. How does that work?
Yeah, so the YouTube channel, the content, all of that is to not only, offer education, entertainment, inspiration, all of those things. It also gives you an opportunity to see my coaching style, gives you an opportunity to see my personality, to see if that even resonates enough with you to want to book a discovery call or to go to my stand store to see what my services are. But yes, my services are listed clearly with descriptions and everything in my stamp store. And if you are interested or if something does resonate with you from what you've heard or what you've read, then yes, you can either just book a service straight out or you can book a discovery call if you're confused on what service you actually need or what would be the most helpful. So the discovery call is complimentary. It gives you an opportunity to ask me questions and me to make sure that you are the right client for me as well, and then to help guide you on which service or product to guide you to.
Awesome.
But I was gonna say that being a creative is not um, when you're a creative and you're an entrepreneur, sometimes the lines can be blurred because entrepreneurship does require structure and clarity and systems and all of these things to be in place to be kind of streamlined. But when you're creative, you're more of a free spirit. You can't be boxed in. It needs to flow. It needs to feel right. All of these things. So um, I was thinking yesterday, like or last night, that both of my parents are creatives. Like you all have been in corporate, as have I. But in your heart and in your spirit, you all are creatives. Like my dad is an orator. He can speak. He can public speaking. He's done speeches. He's that type of person that has the gift of gab. He's a dancer. He's been a part of a dance ensemble when he was younger. He can sing. He can he can definitely act. He's a thespian. He went to college at Fisk University and his major was theater. So, he has that side of, creativity. My mom is a model. She's also an actress. She sews, she creates, she has a, a whole fashion house. She draws, she doodles, she does all type of creative, activities and creative projects and expresses her creativity in multiple ways. And hello, what did y'all think y'all was gonna get? No, I'm playing, but I think that it's interesting. Do you feel that you are only focused on one thing, or do you feel that it nourishes your spirit to only? I don't even say focus on one thing because that is true. You do need to focus on one thing at a time. And I think people confuse the fact that I have a plethora of services with being focused on multiple things, but
right.
My services are all under my, life, love, and business. When I was focusing on trying to build my youth workshop and have my vegan brand and have my body and bath and body products and all of those things at the same time, my Cool Weirdos brand and my podcast and all of these things, that was me focusing on multiple things at once. Now I'm focused on several things under one umbrella, so it appears to be all over the place, but I have more clarity now than I've ever had. So and it's just kind of getting other people to have the clarity.
And helping other people to have their dreams realized as a dream doula. And I like the way that you have structure in your life as it helps you to prioritize the areas that you have, all of the different categories. And so it's structured within you, within the clarity that you have, that you're saying that you have discovered all of this time, and also taking the positive criticism and sometimes the negative feedback. But it's all there because the clients and the people are the ones, as we have been informed, give the people what they want. But then by Dolly Avant, our business coach, with some of the things that happens is that you make it to where people understand you as you have more clarity. And I can appreciate that. And as far as I'm welcome, welcome, welcome. Do you mind reading the comments?
The comments are just trolls.
The trolls, okay.
So I was asking you how do you
Okay, so what you're not gonna do is box sweet tea in. Now I can understand that when it comes to knowing what it is that we have to offer. And when I come here on the platform, I indicate that I see you, sis. I know what you're going through, especially those that are pouring into others and neglecting to pour into themselves, 35 and older, for wives and mothers, and those that are caregivers in some cases. So I do have a specific person that I'm looking at in terms of what I have to offer because I know what it's like being a former people pleaser. So I'm coming in on that angle. But then there's a great deal of opportunities that you will have to grow within some of the services. Now, if I was to just have the Lady Academy workshop and stop there, I have not. I have a private Facebook page for the Zestful Life Social Club and Support Group to where we can have more intimate conversations that are not on a large platform. If you want to be able to share, you can join me there for Zestful Life Social Club and Support Group. I will add you in as it is a private Facebook page. I also do have the Zestful Life Social Club and Support Group where we have meetups. We're looking at uploading at least uploading three meetups to where we can have a location where we can meet. So all of it is centered around how to be able to help you to rid yourself of the guilt as a mother, as a caregiver, as someone that is constantly poor. You're like, you don't have to sell me. You over it. I ain't trying to sell anybody with the way you look at it. But it's almost as if you have to know who it is that needs your services. When I attended an event for my dear friend Lisa, that she invited me as it was, she's from Vegas, and a great deal of her friends here in Atlanta wasn't able to make her birthday party in Vegas, so she created a space for us, an Airbnb, and asked me to come along and speak to some of the ladies. It felt really, really good to have a group of people that gets it, that needs it, that can relate to it. And so that was where it happened for me, that I was able to speak about the things that we do as mothers. We neglect ourselves. And before you knew it, even me, as Dad and I have confessed, that we're criers. I was in there crying. All of the ladies were crying based on some of the questions that we asked. So I hope I answered your question back again.
Not really. I'm asking you because you know you can give a speech too.
Girl.
Basically, do you feel that you do have a target audience that's clear? Women over 35 who have neglected themselves in their roles and neglected to pour into themselves and prioritize themselves and feel guilty, and the empty nesters and those people. I'm not talking about boxed in as far as who you're speaking to.
Right.
I mean, like, as far as the content that you're creating or what you're sharing, do you feel that do you feel seen? Do you feel understood as far as the content that you're creating? Because I do want to commend you, because out of all the people that I know, between you and Zakia, as she calls herself, we don't pronounce it like that in the family, but my cousin Zakia, you all have not missed a day of posting for years. You have been posting every day consistently since 2020, correct?
Yes, 6 years.
So that is very commendable. There have been moments where I've been on a roll with posting daily, and then I've taken a break, and that break ends up being months or weeks, and or I just start being inconsistent. I've personally been consistently posting on Facebook and Instagram since February, so I'm proud of myself for that. Mm-hmm. I've been keeping up with that, but with you posting daily, do you feel seen with your content? Do you feel understood? Do you feel that you are aligning with your tribe based on what you're sharing? Because I understand your content. You're a creative, and you also are showing people how to live a zestful life through your own experiences, and you're showing your creative side, and that's also how to pour into self-love and self-care and self-discovery, all these different things. But do you feel seen and understood with, you know?
Not all the time, because even my stand store is not actually being utilized. And I come here on the live, and I thank you, Osha, for suggesting that I start Zestful Living with Sweet Tea Morning Show. Osha suggested that I do this as of February of 2025, and I've been consistent with this. Mm-hmm. So I'm showing up, but where the people at? I'm showing up, right. But who needs the services? Mm-hmm. I'm showing up, I'm talking, I'm giving you some of the ways in which I see that many of us as mothers are living, as I shared with my dear beloved mother. Mom, some children don't see their moms as people. They don't see you as people. So I come here on the live. Welcome, 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 our dear friend, Miss Desiree, as well as Miss Fifi. Thank you so much for the likes and loves that you can share.
Miss Desiree says that she doesn't feel like you're seen enough, and she said that's amazing that you post like that. What do we need to do? Because I feel she needs to be seen more. Are you talking about sweet tea right here? Because
Yes.
I think that I think people should, share. Like she offers affirmations, inspiration, motivation. I have to do better with sharing too because I'm really not active on Facebook. What you see on Facebook is coming straight over from Instagram, but I'm trying to do better with being more consistent over there as well. So sharing the posts, sharing to groups, um, actually going to, I feel like people need the services and people resonate with it, but then there's a point where people stop. So I don't know if they're afraid to be seen or if they're afraid to receive the services or they're having some type of fear or hope or blockage to um, allow someone to support them in what they need, because I know there's plenty of people, especially with so many of your friends being in your age group or being mothers or being people that have a lot on their plate, that they need someone that can support them with prioritizing themselves and rediscovering their zest for life. A lot of people show up online or they're scrolling, but in their real life, they're not necessarily pouring into their social life. They're not. They need a support system. They need a sisterhood. They need someone who can support them and coach them on things that she's also experienced. So I think, just taking the steps to go and get the complimentary tool to find out how you may have lost your roles and how to get it back. And then once you see that, this sounds just like me, maybe book a call, book a discovery call to see how Sweet Tea can support you. Um, Attend the Lady Academy workshop, which Miss Desiree has done. Thank you for your support.
Yes.
Attend the Lady Academy workshops when they come up. Don't just, you know, keep scrolling past or think that it's not for you, because there's a lot of healing, there's a lot of sisterhood, there's a lot of activities and exercises that go on that people just become so filled up from, and they really enjoy it, and they get to be in a sisterhood and not just look good and do fun things, but also have healing without it being too heavy. But the exercises are there, the balance is there. And then the Zest for Life support group and social club and support group. Don't you want to have a group of like-minded women that you can go out? A lot of people don't want to go out by themselves, or people talk about how difficult it is with meeting new friends and as grown people. Where do you meet new friends at if it's not at work? If you're not working anymore, or if you don't vibe with the people at work, when do you meet new friends? So joining the support group and social club, who do you have to speak to that can actually understand what you've been through? So just really taking the time to look at the stand store and see what the services are. She has guided journals. She has other tools that are supportive of your journey. So it's not that, and also sometimes people will feel like, well, how can I support you? And you also have to understand that you're supporting yourself as well. Like if the services resonate with you, or if something that she said makes sense, go look further. So Miss Desiree says yes. Her lives are usually done when I'm at work, so I don't get to see them live, and then I may forget. I have to do better. Yes. So 8 a.m. is sometimes maybe commute time for people, or time for people to be at work. So I understand that too. But Miss Desiree, you have been super supportive. I always see you, you know, commenting, and then you have shown up to in-person events, and yeah, so people that see both of us, we don't just come up on these dang on platforms to just yap.
Right.
We have value to offer you, and you know, hello.
And then also
click the link.
Click the link, and thank you very much, Asha, for that. As a public relations personnel for me and the things that I do, as well as my bestie daughter, I appreciate it very much. And Miss Desiree, if you could share with us here in the comments some of the ways in which the services that you have received from us, as you know, we are friends as well, and I believe sisters. And so let me know and let us know how that has showed up in your life and some of the benefits from being in the Lady Academy workshop. I know that we also had a modeling shoot that Asha editorialized, coordinated, and so some of the things that we do together are very helpful as we know to be each other's accountability partners. And so do share in the Zestful Life Social Club and Support Group, which is now a private Facebook page, Ms. Desiree, that you are a part of as well. So please let us know in the comments in what ways have the services that you've received thus far have benefited you and how that has helped you in your life.
Ms. Desiree says, yes, I can co-sign on that. Very valuable information, support, get to experience new things about yourself. Yes.
Absolutely. And so, Asha, I know that we can go ahead if you like and look at some hot topics. Thank you so much for pushing all of the things that I do. You just don't necessarily speak on a great deal of things because you believe after so long that people may get it. But again, I don't necessarily feel as if I'm being seen, heard, or understood or even valued. I know I am valuable to myself and I feel good about me. And I believe as we grow as people, that will start to come across when you are delivering your content or things of that nature. People want to see the authenticity in you so that they can know that they can relate to you. So there's nothing that you're necessarily selling as it is showing up being your authentic self. And we know for a great deal of us that can take some time, coming in these social media streets and on these live platforms.
Yeah, and I think, sometimes you don't want to come off as being too salesy. So even though we are entrepreneurs, we're self-employed, we have services, sometimes you get to a point where you don't want to feel like you're coming on here, hey, I got this service, go link in bio, or always having to have a call to action with every caption. That rhymes. But there have you have to also find balance to make sure that people know what your services are, and I'm talking about both of us, not just you. I'm saying like it's when you're when you're doing these, being an entrepreneur in modern times, you have to be like a one woman show unless you have a team.
Right.
We're not at the point where we have a full team, so it's like you have to be in charge of creating the content, creating the services, being the person that's offering the services, hosting, being the marketing director, being the person that's editing and promoting and all of these things. And you want to make sure that you find balance between being the person that's creating the content and sharing it, and also making sure that people who don't know you know what you actually have to offer. Because there's been people, I know for me, I've been on social media since I was 17, 18 years old.
Wow.
And I did lose my Facebook page, my original Facebook page, about 3 years ago. But so all of the people that have been following me for all those years, a lot of them are not on my platform anymore, but most of them are still on Instagram. And, people have been following me for years, and they don't, they might not be interested in what I'm offering, but they've been watching the journey. So I also have to talk to people that may just be scrolling and never seen me a day of their lives. The first image or the first impression they have of me, it has to be able to be something that grabs their attention, whether it's, what is she talking about? Or they might see a service and it sounds interesting, but then they need to know more. So then they go back to your page and see what you posted to see if that resonates with them, or they follow you to see if whatever you post going forward resonates with them. So it's a lot to make sure everyone has what they need as far as knowing who you are, being authentic, and also selling what you're offering, because that's what ultimately we have our services for people to tap in with them. So we have to find balance with making sure that that is aware, that people are aware of that.
And then one thing I would say about you, Asha, is I have attended some of the Cowboy Cupid collaborations that you have with Latrice Monet, and the things that you all are doing for curating these events, for bringing singles together as mixers and things like that. I have attended, I believe, each and every one of them that you've had. And so they're great ways in which you can mingle, and based on the fact that you have the service now that you pre-screen those that may be interested in the dating scene. So some of the things that you do are very well and thorough, very well thought out. They're thorough, and you carry yourself in a very professional way. And so I'm not certain why it is that more people are not lined up at the door to go ahead and take up some of the things that you have to offer. And stay tuned, give yourself a pat on the back and some credit for showing up for yourself each and every day that we rise and shine, because it's not easy.
Yeah, they'll come. So whatever you said, whenever you were just saying that, my brand is called the Intentional Love Collective. Everything that I do is very intentional, very curated, very authentic and personal. So, you build it and they will come. I align with I have some great clients already. My books are open and check me out. And that's what I also said after opening that can of worms on Threads, asking for feedback. Because some people, of course, I asked for the feedback, so they were going off of the thumbnails and the titles, and I really appreciated that. But I also, once I got hundreds, well, I ain't gonna say hundreds, I would say at least 30, 40 comments. I actually invited them to go check out the content because people say, "Oh, I'm confused. I don't know what you're offering." Have you actually taken the time to listen to what I'm saying? Because once you do, you'll realize. So somebody was like, "Well, I saw you posting a journaling prompt, and then the next video, I see you posting lemonade, so I'm confused." The journaling prompts are for self-discovery, healing, self-love. The lemonade recipe that I posted was actually something that I curated from the tree that's next door in the neighbor's yard. They have, they have a mimosa tree, and I had just found out about the benefits of the mimosa flower. I asked my neighbor if I could have some of the flowers, and I literally made this mimosa lemonade from scratch with the flowers that we picked and cut and cleaned and dried and fermented for 3 days. And the benefits of the mimosa flower are to support people with depression and heartbreak. I support people who are healing from heartbreak, who are in need of support with depression. It's so interesting. Everything, when you actually take the time to look at it, it ties into self love, healing, self discovery, life, love, business. It's not that far fetched. It's not all over the place.
It's not.
Really take time
If you, and that's the key point. They're not necessarily taking the time to even discover what it is that you offer, and perhaps take some time to know what they need in their own lives. But if you take a look at Asha, wouldn't you want to be just like her? She glows, she knows, she grows, and she's doing it all on her own in terms of making a way for herself, and she does it intentionally. As you can see, that she has grown her locks, which takes a lot of determination, dedication, and loyalty to, as they say, going through those stages as you begin to on your lock journey. They call them the ugly stage.
I don't subscribe to that.
And so for someone to also, it's not necessarily a vegan, what is it called now? Plant-based. Someone that makes these decisions in terms of making their lives better. Wouldn't you want to know more about someone that can actually walk the walk and talk the talk? So don't get me started here. But let's go ahead, Asha, if you like. Did you have something that I'm going to put all of everything in one?
Because all that wrestling.
And we're going to grab.
I am working on fumes right now. I only had a couple hours of sleep, so,
And so this is the part, well, you're doing very well. This is the hot topic segment. Let your comments be known in the comment section if you want to participate in some of these random questions that we have.
I don't think that applies right now. Should your partner have access to your phone? Is full transparency healthy, or is privacy still important in relationships? Not the deep side.
Privacy is important in relationships because whatever it is that you're looking for, you're going to find it. And when you find it and discover it, that he is talking to Miss Betty on the job about some areas that they're working on in the work field. Now, is she a workplace wife? Because we've heard about those, or a workplace husband. But the thing about it is, do you trust your partner enough to leave them alone when it comes to some privacy? Because again, if you continue to go and look, you're going to find out a great deal of things. Now, if they ask you for your phone and your password and your pass codes, are you comfortable with sharing that? So my thing is, I think that they should have a level of privacy. And obviously, if someone doesn't want you to see their phone, doesn't want you to have their password, perhaps there's something going on. Perhaps there was some insecurity that you had once before in your previous relationship. And so if the person is open and transparent with you, here, take the phone.
Mm-hmm. I think I pretty much agree with you. I think that I don't think it's healthy to feel the need to have to go through somebody's phone, especially sneaking and doing it. I paid my dues with that when I was in my early 20s. I ain't got time for that. All it does is stress you out because, like you said, if there's something there, you're gonna find it. If you go looking, you're gonna find it. So if there's no trust there, or if there is fear or any type of suspicions, just go off of your intuition and have a conversation to figure out what you want to go, do from there. But I do also feel like if we're in a relationship, I should be able to have access to your phone, not to snoop through it, but you don't have to have your phone face down, or if somebody call you, gotta go sneak and get into the other room, or you know, if I need to use it, I gotta go through here. Can you put your code in or whatever? Like it shouldn't have to be sneaky like that or secretive like that. I should be able to say, "Babe, let me use your phone real quick. Mine is dead. Okay, it's on the counter. Boom. I know your passcode. I need to get in here and use the phone, or use mine, or take some pictures with my phone, or whatever it is that I need to do. Hold my phone, I'll hold your phone, put your phone in my purse while we're out and about, or if we're taking a walk or whatever. It shouldn't be top secret, shut down, sneaky stuff going on, but also there is a level of, privacy that comes along with your phone. It's kind of like you wouldn't want anybody going through your personal diary or journal. Um, I think going through people's phones can be an invasion of privacy, but also hiding it can be suspicious.
It can be, and it's almost like someone going through your purse. That's very personal. You get to going in there. I know where things are. And, of course, you don't want that to come about. And it also depends on how long, when you're talking about a partner, a boo thing, your person, how long have you all been together? And so, again, it just depends on where you all are in your relationship stages.
Miss Desiree says full transparency does not mean you have full access to my phone. That means I don't have anything to hide. That means I'm not shady on my phone. I can answer any call in front of you. But then there's trust and respect. If I feel like I need to check someone's phone when they're not around, then I need to check out of the relationship. Yeah, I feel like when I was in that phase, it was like my first real relationship, my marriage. I think before, probably before, during, and after we got married, I was still on that. And, um, honey, it was just stressful for me because we both, I think we started off the foundation of when we started living together, we shared a phone. Because back then, smartphones had just came out. I don't even think we had a smartphone. Smartphones hadn't even came out yet. So we shared a phone. We lived together. We went to the same school. We did everything together. So at that point, that set the foundation of each other having access to this one device. We had each other's passcodes, the email addresses, social media platforms, and it got messy. And even one time, my friend at the time, she had texted me. She was getting ready to go out with another guy. I think she had a boyfriend at the time as well, and she was getting ready to go out with another guy because her boyfriend hadn't been doing right. They had been going through problems and all of that. And it wasn't that I condoned her stepping out of her relationship, but it wasn't my business to check her as a grown woman. So she was like, "What should I wear?" or something. I remember he and I were at the movies and he saw the message. And that's between us girls. But he blew up and he was like, "Well, if she doing that, that means you doing that because birds of a feather flock together and all this." So it's just certain things that we shouldn't be privy to. um I get, when you're older, you can maybe learn how to, share your values with your friends. Maybe at this age, I would tell my friend, like, "Girl, I don't want nothing to do with that. That's y'all business. Don't even include me because I don't condone that. That's not my values." Maybe there was a boundary that I could have set, but at the same time, that was also none of his business to get involved in because he was threatening to go tell her boyfriend. And she was saying, "You need to protect me, and now I'm in between them, and I'm like, see, there's too much going on with these shared devices. And then there were times where, he had children, one of his children's mother texts something that I didn't find appropriate, and I'm seeing it because I got the phone. So it's just messy. It got real messy.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Hmm. We just talked about this, but not in relationship to men, but it's communicating with men, understanding and being understood, when to be direct and when to be subtle. Do men respond better to clear requests, or what is this word?
Hints.
Or hints? Did we talk about this before? I think we talked about it before as far
Okay.
as the hints.
Yeah. It's all supposed to be. Those are the ones that kind of left over.
Hmm. What's the most valuable thing you've learned from your family?
How to mind thy own business. One of the most valuable things is to actually, before you start sharing some of the things that you have going on, some of the things that you are working on, let it come into full fruition. And so I could respect that for some of the things in the family. And in many cases, in the old school way, what goes on in this house stays in this house. And so that's something that the family has a reputation of doing and being in terms of how you move about. But I do like the idea of not sharing what it is that you have going on until it actually manifests. And that way you won't speak too soon about some of the things that you have going
That's a good one. Let me see. One of the most valuable things that I've learned from family. Probably to not take things personal, because oftentimes we, you know, we do take things personal when it comes to people that we love. So with our families, they're people who have known us our whole lives. We have certain culture and customs in our families that maybe you outgrow or you stray away from, or you don't necessarily agree with anymore, or you doing certain things that you feel like you want that support or being seen or heard or understood, and people still see you as the younger person that you were 20 plus years ago, or whatever the case is. Learning not to take things as personal, I think that's a valuable lesson that I've learned. Because if you do take things personal when it comes to family, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. You're gonna always be sad and you're gonna always be hurt, because there's gonna be someone that maybe doesn't show up for you in the way that you want them to, or they, like I just mentioned all these different examples, but you have to understand that that's not necessarily that it's okay for people to be who they've always been, or that's just who they are, but not taking things to heart, because whatever it is may not necessarily be a reflection of you. It could be them projecting, it could be them not understanding, and it's okay. So you really have to, I want to say, have tough skin, but also just give people grace and just understand that they are being who they can be.
on. And then one of the things also in terms of some of the family things that I hear, prior proper planning prevents poor piss performance. Piss poor performance. That's some of the things that are shared, that you plan ahead of time. And that way you'll be prepared when it's time for you to perform.
Hmm. Do you feel like you have to earn rest?
Now that's a question for you with what? Only 2 hours of sleep thus far.
I don't think that, well, I would say that overall, I don't feel like that I have to earn rest. I feel like you know, rest is self care, rest is a necessity, rest is a birthright, all of those things. But as far as the pressure that I may put on myself to be productive or get certain things done or, you know, handle certain tasks may sometimes interfere to just enjoying the rest. Like I might allow myself to rest or I might allow myself to relax, but am I allowing myself to do that guilt free or am I running through my mind like, oh, I can get this done. I should be doing this. I think I've improved with that, but I could still be better. Um, and I'm just a night owl, so I'm often up anyway. But I think lately I've been kind of like getting things done or staying up late. And yeah, I don't feel like I have to earn it, but I do feel that sometimes it can be a little bit of guilt there.
I believe that a great deal of those that are constantly pouring into other people, this area of rest is something like it's to where they feel that they have to earn it. Mothers and wives and caregivers and the people that I'm recognizing on a day to day basis that they don't prioritize themselves enough to where the rest is something extra. Even myself, where I am laying there in bed, but I'm not always resting, especially when I have all of these projects that I just completed my 8-piece collection from the House of Johnny Root. And so the rest was something that I was just not necessarily receiving all the time. I actually had to earn it in terms of wanting to make sure that my work was completed. And of course, there will be some continuous posts that I will add to the Facebook and all of the ways that I show up here on social media that you will see me with all of the sweat, tears, and blood that went into because the needles were sticking me everywhere. Okay. And so rest was something that I got within the last couple of days after the show.
Oh, I was about to say, I really before.
So it's one of those things that many people are feeling guilty about having. They don't prioritize themselves enough because, as my favorite cartoon character, the Wonder Dog that used to come on that I would watch, he had this cape on, and his open line was, "Here I come to save the day." You may feel that everyone needs you, but when you find out that they really don't, that you will start prioritizing yourself. So, yes, in many cases, people feel like they have to earn rest. Mm-hmm. Do you want you
What
find
are what are some important boundaries to establish in an older man younger woman relationship? Shall I go?
Okay.
Because I
Yes.
think we both dated older men. So I think one of the boundaries is you're not my dad.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Can you say it a little louder for those
You're
sitting in
not
the
my
front row?
dad.
Okay,
You're not my dad. I'm
Okay.
not your child.
That's right.
Some other important boundaries. Baby, keep up with your health because I'm not the nurse. And I'm not saying that I've dated that much older,
Okay.
but I'm just saying like this ain't that as far as if you're looking for a level of care that a nurse would provide you.
Oh. Okay.
And again, I've never dated anyone that much older, but I'm just saying like don't get too lax because you got a young tenderoni thinking that she's gonna be the caregiver. Oh. And that could be for any age man, because some of these men think we're supposed to take care of them. And I got a video on my YouTube channel coming out tomorrow, I think, about how women in relationships can end up feeling like single mothers.
Wow, isn't that interesting? Because some people let themselves go. Now, where you're going, baby, you're going to have to unpack the bag and kind of go through and sort things out because a lot of this is being able to evolve, that we all grow and evolve, and you want to be with someone that is in that place in their lives where they're accepting themselves as is. Yeah. And they appreciate the level of time that goes into taking care of oneself as happiness comes from within. No one can make you happy. Now, if you're sitting up with your arms folded and you're frowning and you're daring someone to put a smile on your face, there's no one have time for that because a lot of us, as we are in this soft girl era, as many people are looking at the area of peace, and in some cases, peace of mind and peace of quiet. All right. And so we are all making certain that those boundaries are in place in terms of what you want, what you won't tolerate, and what you're not going to do is get in the way of Sweet Tea's peace.
Mm-hmm. Miss Desiree says, right, they be looking for hospice wives. Baby, you better keep looking.
Not the Stepford wives, but the hospice
Right.
wives. Wow.
But yeah, I think another boundary, is it a boundary or is it a value or a standard? But you mentioned something that reminded me of some older men can be stuck in their ways. So a boundary, I don't know if it would be considered a boundary, but somebody that is willing to evolve or somebody that is willing to try new things or be open to your suggestions. Like this is not gonna just be your program and your show, and you're not willing to do something different because obviously whatever way that you have doesn't always work. So if I have a suggestion or if I want to do something new or different than what you're used to, if you're not open minded, then go ahead on.
What is this? Comments.
She said she enjoyed the live.
Okay. All righty, sweetie. We enjoy you being here as well each and every day that you come on the live. So we have time for one more as well.
I believe so. I should already have it picked out. um, what's your go-to outfit, scent, or okay? Okay, one more question. I'm looking for one now. The art of being pursued, letting go of chasing energy and stepping into your work.
Well, a great deal of people are saying that they're chasing the bag and they pretty much are leaving everything behind when it comes to finding and wanting and desiring love in their lives because, again, they're wanting to chase after something. And when you have to chase something, it appears that it's running away from you. And you don't have to go to those extremes, in my
opinion. Yeah, so I think that can apply to multiple areas of your life, like you said, chasing money, chasing fame, chasing success. Also chasing an individual. I think in the art of being pursued. I think there's ways that we as women can make ourselves available, make ourselves known to have interest in someone, or to spark. We can even spark conversations, but once you get to the point where you're always doing the initiating, the chasing, the following up, the running up behind, that's when you realize that it's just not aligned because men are supposed to be the hunters and the ones that are pursuing. Now, I will say that my most recent relationship, I approached him, but after I reached out initially, it was up to him to do what it did. Right. And I didn't approach him like, hey, what's your name? Give me your number, this and that. I approached him because I thought he was handsome, but I slick told him, I just needed the number to add to my singles database, him and his cousin that he was with, which I did. Like, I was open to, even though I find him attractive, if he's not for me, then I can maybe match him with someone. And it ended up, developing into a relationship. But what I was not gonna do, what you're not gonna do, is chase and run up behind after I've shown interest.
Right. The art of being pursued, letting go of chasing energy and stepping into your worth. You know your worth. Many women are taking the ultimate leap and they're getting down on one knee and they're proposing. No. And so one of the things that I ask, are you going to carry him over the threshold?
There's actually a woman right now on Instagram, and no judgment, sweetie, but she has a series that she's putting on right now where I don't know how it started before it, but she ended up proposing to her man.
Wow.
At the time, she was making $50,000 a month, and she was the breadwinner. She was taking care of. She said that in the beginning he had a place, and there was a time where she was staying with him while there were some repairs that needed to be done, and he was taking care of everything. But then at some point, she ended up proposing to him. They got married. She ended up feeling burnt out. She got pregnant, and then right after she had the first child, she ended up getting pregnant with the second one. She was thinking with him being the stay-at-home dad, it would kind of eliminate a lot of stress for her. They would save money not having to put the children in daycare. He would provide balance and make sure all she had to be concerned about was handling her business. But she wasn't getting the support. She said he checked out. Seemed like he went through a depression, and she lowered her monthly income from 50,000 to 10,000 and took a sabbatical. And the whole relationship just fell apart, and she ended up having to divorce him. Wow. I don't know what she was thinking, but I don't personally support women proposing to men. I feel, call me
old fashioned.
Call me old fashioned. Say that I'm, a member of the patriarch when it comes to that, because I do believe in tradition when it comes to allowing the man to propose, because especially if you want traditional values such as them providing and protecting and showing up actively and being present in the relationship, you don't need to be rushing him into doing something that he's not ready for. If he wants to propose, he'll propose. If it doesn't match your timeline and you've had conversations and you made it aware, he should know from the day you meet him. I ain't gonna say the day you meet him, but in the early stages of vetting that you're marriage minded, if you want to be married or not. Right. So when you all are getting to know each other, you all should be knowing whether or not marriage is something that you want for your future. Not necessarily if that you want it with that person, because of course you don't necessarily know them enough to know that. But they should definitely be aware that marriage is on your mind and you know that you want that in your future. So then as you all are getting to know each other, getting to the point of relationship, he should know that the next step is after we're in this relationship, we get to know each other, we figure out we're planning our future as we go. You're collaborating on that the whole time. So you both know that eventually you want to get engaged and be married. If that timeline doesn't align and you all have had the conversations and you feel like you don't want to wait 5, 6, 7 years for a proposal, you're going to have to make a tough decision of whether or not you're going to be with this person in the relationship status that you all have, or whether you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to move on and start over in my single journey, and hopefully someone else, I meet them and they're on a timeline that aligns with mine. Because I was dating a guy a few years back. He was like a year and a half, 2 years younger than me. I think I might have been 35 at the time, and he was maybe 33. And you would think that we were in two separate worlds the way he was. He didn't get none of my jokes because I often quote movies and things from the 90s and stuff. He didn't. It was going over his head. But anyway, when we did have the conversation of timeline, he was saying that he didn't want to have children for another 5 to 9 years. I'm like, maybe that don't work for me. Like I'm in my mid-30s at the time. I would like to start having children before I'm 40, and I would like to be married again prior to having the children. So right then and there, even though I knew there were other reasons why it wasn't gonna work, but that was a main thing for me. Our timelines don't align, and I think people have to stop fooling themselves when they know they want certain things within a certain timeline, and it doesn't align with the partner. Miss Desiree says, "Let me have my feminine energy." We can't keep that if we keep taking the male role. Exactly.
Absolutely. And yours is more of an intentional dating situation where you know exactly what it is that you want and desire. And so it looks as if we have gotten to the end of the top of the hour, and I was reminded on the scene of Martin when he told Gina, I will marry you. Are you happy now? And she did what we all was expecting her to do. She took her bag and left clean out the front door. Because what you're not going to do is make it seem as if you're the prize, in which we all have things that we have to offer. But you don't want to, as you pointed out, Asha, force someone into a marriage, by putting them in a chokehold about it. We can all stay in our energy, as you're pointing out, Miss Desiree, in terms of being putting our needs first, being healed through some of the things that you may have gone through in your childhood, and being available in your relationship, being present in your relationship. There's nothing like someone that is there but not. Right. Okay, and so we want to keep it cute and make sure that we're all in alignment, as you pointed out, in these relationship dating streets.
And Miss Desiree says, and I'm upfront now that I'm dating. I start off with letting people know I do not recreational date. So don't waste your time. Also, I am not a long-term girlfriend. So if those two things don't resonate with you, just keep it moving. I don't care how fine you are or what you got going on. Exactly. Because some of these fools think that they're too fine. Right. Or finer than you. Right. And, they want you to chase and run up behind them like, no, baby, I'm fine too. I know what I want. And that's not enough. Take the fineness and the muscles and that fine face and go on somewhere and waste somebody else's time.
Yeah, because again, how long does that last, sweetie? Because as we talked about, as time goes on, you're going to need somebody to be there that loves on you, that likes you, that desires you, that wants you, that needs you. Don't get sweet tea started. Oh, Lord. Because again, this is all about what we both have to offer. Right. Okay? It's not one-sided. All right? So we're going to keep it cute, and we want to thank each and every one of you all for being here today, as we will come up with a Monday theme song.
Oh, Lord. If y'all got any jingle suggestions, send it to us.
We can do for ourselves. And how many of the likes and loves has Miss Fifi provided?
We got 3.3 thousand.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Fifi, for all the likes and loves. Miss Desiree, Dad, thank you so much for being here. As we say, give yourself some grace today and have a good day on purpose. And what would you like to say to the people, Osha?
I'm about to go to sleep. So y'all have a zestful day. I'm about to take me a zestful nap.
Oh, okay then. Guilt free.
And thank you over there for my YouTube people. Absolutely guilt free. Because I've been putting in work. I deserve the rest.
You do. And you all have a good day on purpose and give yourself some grace today.
Talk to y'all later. All right, YouTube. Thank you so much for joining Mama and me. Yay. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Talk to you soon.